Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Ahmad Nauman, and today it is our second lecture for the textile industry. So in the previous lecture we have introduction of textile industry, its types, and some discuss about raw materials used in textile industry. So we discussed fibers, and today we will discuss the remaining raw materials used in textile industry. We will also briefly overview some of the machines which are involved in the manufacturing of textile products, and we will overview the manufacturing process, and we will discuss in detail the production of fibers using the cotton. The next very important raw material for textile manufacturing is the fabric. Fabric is planar textile structure which is normally produced by interlacing yarns, fibers or filaments. Yarns mean सूत जिसको हम कहते हैं उर्दू में. So it is a kind of material which are made by using yarns, fibers or filament, and it can be made in a different way. It can be woven, it can be knitted, or it can be non-woven and made mechanically or through making composite. So some common names and the sources we will discuss here of the different fabric materials. So one kind of fabric, we call it the 100% cotton fabric, which is made of purely cotton materials, और जिसके अंदर हम कहते हैं कि which is, for example, there are different cloth which we use are 100% cotton, and they are preferred in mostly the areas which have the very hot summers. So the cotton is actually have a cooling effect, and which is mostly used in the hot weather. And then there is a CVC, which is known as chief value cotton. This is another kind of fabric which is actually a combination of cotton and some synthetic fibers such as polyester. And then similarly there is another kind of fabric which include the mixture of cotton and the polyester is actually known as poly cotton fabrics. So we call PC fabrics, and though it can have a variety of composition, but the most commonly used PC fabric has the ratio of 65% cotton and 35% polyester. And then we have Lystra single jersey fabric. This is the lycra. The lycra is the kind of material which is made from spandex, and a kind of synthetic material, and it is the highly elastic material. So mostly the trousers or the shirts which you see wearing different athletes, so they are more made of that kind of fabric, lycra. So exercise के लिए, running के लिए, या जो gymnast होते हैं उनके लिए highly elastic material चाहिए होता है. So that is actually made for the spandex, and we normally call it lycra. Similarly, the another kind is viscose lycra. This is again a material which is though it is elastic and it is very lightweight. So some people like to use really lightweight cloth. So if you want to buy that, so they will be made of viscose lycra. So that is very lightweight and very soft fabric. And then we have another type like plain interlock, and there are multiple kind of fabrics which are made by this method of plain interlock. So mostly they are also a mixture of cotton and some synthetic fibers. And then normally जो हमारी मटीरियल जैसे हम शर्ट्स पहनते हैं, हम ट्राउजर्स होते हैं, and in some cases some soft pants, they are actually made of that kind of fabric. We call it plain interlock. And then there is another type of fabric which we call 100% polyester fabric. So that 100% polyester is also used, 100% cotton is used. So there is a mixture of polyester and fabric is used. So depending on the again the end use where we are going to use that product. So different composition of fabrics are prepared using different kind of fibers and to get the desired properties in that fabric. So after fibers and fabric, the third important raw material are dyes. So we know that dyes are colored substances which have affinity to the substrate to which they are being applied, and the basic purpose of applying dye is to give color to the fabric. So depending what kind of fabric we are using, different colors or different prints are applied. So dyes are used to give the color to the fabric material. So generally they are applied in an aqueous solution, and mostly they required a binder or a mordant to improve the fastness of the dye on the fiber, or to enhance the attachment or attachment of the dye to the fiber or the fabric. When we talk about the dyes, similar to the fiber and fabric we discussed in the previous slide, there are various kind of dyes which are being applied in the textile industry. So some of the common types of dyes which are used in the textile industry as raw material include reactive dyes, dispersive dyes, acidic dyes, and basic dyes. Similarly, sulfur dyes or azo dyes, and the last one is the wet dyes. So the top dyes are the different kind of dyes which depend on the composition of the dye, but the last one, the wet dye, is actually the type of dye which is categorized based on the dyeing process, not the type of dye. वेट कहते हैं मोस्टली किसी जैसे आप बर्तन यूज़ करते हैं, जैसे बाल्टी या बकेट यूज़ करते हैं, सो वो डाइंग प्रोसेस जो इस तरह से बकेट्स वगैरह में होता है, तो उस तरह की डाइज जो हैं जो उसमें यूज़ की, तो उसको वेट डाई कहते हैं. सो दे कैन बी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ डाइज विच आर यूज्ड इन दैट प्रोसेस आर नोन एज वेट डाई. So these are various kinds of dyes, various types of dyes which are being applied in the textile industry to give desired color to the fabric or the product materials. So by now we have discussed about the different textile raw material including fiber, fabric and dyes. So the last one and the very important type of raw materials are chemicals and the auxiliaries. So auxiliaries mean the chemicals or chemical product which are used in the processing operations of the textile manufacturing process. That includes preparation or dyeing or the printing or finishing process. So these are the chemicals which assist different processes during the manufacturing, dyeing and the printing. So जो chemicals auxiliaries यूज़ करते हैं, ये they are necessary in that production process जो होता है हमारे पास, या printing होता है, या जो dyeing process होता है, they assist that process or enhance the efficiency of those processes. So based on where they are used, they can be of multiple kinds. For example, there can be used as, and they can be used for like pre-treatment, they can be used for as a labeling or dispersive agent. Similarly, there are some chemicals which are used for anti-foaming during the process, and for pH control, and for a buffer system, for desizing, for lubrication of yarn, moisturizing agents. They can be used for dye fixing, and these chemicals can be used for enhancing the brightness of the fabric or the textile product, and they can also be used to enhance the proper washing properties, or they can be used as a soaping agent or the washing of agent in the process of the textile product manufacturing. So they are a very important type of raw materials used in the manufacturing of textile industry. So they assist different process of the manufacturing, and they facilitate the manufacturing process of the textile industry. Before we go into the details of the manufacturing processes involved in the textile industry, we will first just overview the different kind of machinery which is employed in different processes. So overall, the textile industry involve extensive number of machines to make clothes and other textile products. And historically, the first machine which was used for textile manufacturing is known as spinning wheel. Spinning wheel was the first, is known to be the first machine which was developed for textile industry. The main machines which are involved in making fiber or threads from the raw materials are sketching machine, carding machine, and spinning machine. So just let's briefly overview these machines. So what is sketching machine? So sketching machine is mainly used to separate out the waste materials and the fiber material from the raw materials. Example लेते हैं कि जैसे हमारे पास कॉटन आता है, जो कॉटन होता है मोस्टली इट कंटेन सम seeds and some other waste material alongside with cotton. So to separate out what we do previously in centuries ago, around 200 years ago, कि वो ये कहते थे लोग कि कॉटन जो है जब वो उसके आपके पास कपास जो है वो आती थी तो उसको बिछा देते थे इन फ्लैट सरफेस एंड देन वो उसको बीट करते थे, किसी चीज़ से मारते थे. सो दैट वो होता क्या था कि उससे जो है वो फाइबर अलग हो जाते थे, जो सीड्स वगैरह अलग हो जाते थे और वो फाइबर को ऊपर से चुन लेते थे एंड जो सीड्स वगैरह और वो जो दूसरा मटेरियल बाय हैंड जो है एक्चुअली दैट सेपरेशन वाज डन. But nowadays this process is actually carried out using machines, and that makes it actually very fast. So there are different actually variants of sketching machine which are used nowadays. So after we separate out the seeds and cotton, so next problem is that mostly that cotton is in the form of clumps. क्लम्प्स मीन कि वो जुड़े होते हैं, बिल्कुल मतलब सेपरेट आउट नहीं होते. फॉर सो कॉर्डिंग मशीन में ये होता है कि उसको जो है जो फाइबर्स होते हैं इंडिविजुअल फाइबर्स उनको सेपरेट आउट किया जाता है इंस्टेड ऑफ क्लम्प्स. सो वी गेट सम फाइबर सेपरेट आउट. फॉर एग्जांपल आप इफ़ यू यूज़ सम ब्लैंकेट्स जो हैं जो कॉटन के होते हैं जो हमारे काफ़ी ज़्यादा भी यूज़ होते हैं, ऑल्दो वी हैव सम आर्टिफिशियल fiber we are used, but cotton made blankets are still commonly used. So you may have noticed that after a year or 2 year use के वो जो है वो इकट्ठे से हो जाते हैं और then we give them to some person और से कहते हैं कि हमारी साइड पे भी होता है, मोस्टली पंजाब में काफ़ी ज़्यादा देखा गया है कि वो उसको जो है दोबारा से जो है उसके जो फाइबर है जो क्लम्प्स बने होते हैं उनको सेपरेट आउट करते हैं और उसको दोबारा से जो है वो उसको फिर बनाया जाता है, उसी कार्टन को यूज़ किया जाता है. सो दैट प्रोसेस इज एक्चुअली नोन एज कार्डिंग. सो इन द विलेजेस और इन द प्रीवियसली इट वाज यूज्ड बाय हैंड्स बाय person, but nowadays this process is used in the by different machines at the large scale. So after we have completed these two steps, the next step is the formation of fabric. So fabric जो है आप डायरेक्ट जो आपके पास कार्टन है जो आपके पास जो उसके फाइबर हैं, you can't turn them into the fabric. So first to make fabric you have to form some kind of thread. So for that purpose spinning machines are used कि जो आपके जो फाइबर हैं whether it's cotton or whatever material we are using, so उस फाइबर को थ्रेड के अंदर जो है वो कन्वर्ट करते हैं उसको थ्रू स्पिनिंग प्रोसेस एंड देन जो है वो थ्रेड जो है वो उसको फैब्रिक मेकिंग के लिए क्लॉथ मेकिंग के लिए यूज़ होता है. So these are the 3 steps which are actually involved for making fiber from the raw material. So After we have got the threads to make fibers, so multiple machines are required to make the fabrics or the cloth which we are going to make. So depending on what kind of fabric we are making, or what kind of textile products we are making, and what are the desired properties we want to have in that fabric, so different kind of machines are used for that purpose. So there is a large variety of machines which are involved in the production of fabric and in textile products. And as you can see, there are some machines given here, like I have you can see the diagram for weaving machine and the digital printing machine. Also I have added a list of machine which are most commonly used in the textile industry. But because there is a huge variety of machines which are involved in the textile industry, so it is really hard to overview all of these machines which are used in the manufacturing of textile products. And if you are really interested to know how this machine works and what is their mechanism, so then it's very easy. You can just type the machine name in the YouTube, and you can get the working and the mechanism of those machines in details. Similarly, if you just want to know the overview of how these machines are interlinked, then there are many videos available also on the YouTube, in which they show the within around 10 minutes or 15 minutes they show the complete manufacturing process of different kind of fabric materials, and they describe the mechanism of different machines which are used there. So I would highly recommend you guys to just look for the production of a fabric in a textile industry, or production of carpet materials in a textile industry, or whatever you want. So I would highly recommend you to watch at least the fabrication of 2 or 3 textile products, and just watch their videos over the YouTube, so you can have a better idea about the working of this machine and their roles in the textile production. Now we will move towards the manufacturing processes involved in the textile industry. So it is not a single step process, but there are many steps which are involved in the manufacturing of textile products. So as you can see in the this slide, so there are multiple steps, and each step involves multiple processes. So we will in this lecture we will discuss all of these steps one by one in detail. So before we go into the detail of these steps, first just briefly overview these steps, and then we will discuss them in detail. Number one step in the textile industry is the cultivation and harvesting. And then the second step is the preparation of yarn, which includes blending and sketching, carding, then combing, which is sometimes optional, and then drawing. And then there is yarn manufacturing process, which is involved the spinning process. And after the yarn is manufactured, the fourth step is normally the manufacturing of the fabric, which involves weaving or knitting, that can be done through different processes including winding, warping, sizing, and weaving. And then the fifth step, or the last step, which is involved in the textile industry, is the finishing process, which can be done by different ways. For example, is a desizing process, there is scoring, stone washing, bleaching, dyeing, and printing, and the last step is the polishing. And this is these steps are actually involved before a product is manufactured. And after a product is manufactured, the most important step is the marketing actually, and the delivery to the consumers. So we will discuss in this lecture, inshallah, all of these steps in detail. Okay, so next move towards the detail of step 1. First step is the cultivation and harvesting of cotton, or the production of fiber. So normally, if we talk about the raw material for the textile, we have two kind of material. They can be natural or man-made. Man-made fibers can be of different types, and for natural fiber we mostly use cotton. So the first step is for the natural fiber is to cultivate and harvest cotton. It can be grown in different parts of the world which have the hot and dry summers, and which involves a lot of sunshine and low humidity. Mostly cotton is planted in September to mid-November, and mostly it's harvested between March and June depending on the climate and condition. एंड जो कॉटन होती है हमारे पास, जैसे आप टॉप फिगर में देख सकते हैं, जिसके अंदर जो कॉटन जो है उसके ऊपर लगा होता है, मोस्टली हम उसको कली कहते हैं जो होती है, जिसको सीड पॉड कहा जाता है इंग्लिश में. सो दैट इन्वॉल्व एक्चुअली कॉटन, विच एंड दैट कॉटन एक्चुअली इन्वॉल्व डिफरेंट सीड्स एंड अदर स्टफ. सो उसको जो है फिर उसको चुना जाता है, एंड देन दैट इज़ फर्दर प्रोसेस विच वी विल डिस्कस इन द डिटेल. So the cultivation and harvesting of cotton is the first step in the textile manufacturing.
The cotton plants require a lot of sunshine and a typically tropical climate with medium rainfall. Once the cotton boll, which is the fruit-like structure containing the cotton fibers, matures, it bursts open and the snow-white cotton fibers are exposed. These bolls are collected and drawn into yarns. But wait, don't you think we need to separate the seeds and the soft, fluffy part first? Well, that can be carried out either manually or these days mostly with the use of machines. The process of separating the seeds and the fibers is called as ginning. Once ginning is successfully carried out, the fibers are taken for the next step.
So the cotton ginning is a process of separating the cotton fibers from the seeds and the trash, and that gin cotton after the removal of all the waste material is known as lint. And after the lint is separated out, then the seeds are also separated, and that seed actually can be used to grow more cotton and also to make the cotton seed oil. And that process is actually elaborated in this machine, in which on the top we use the cotton with including seed and waste material, and it is ginned in this the machine, where the trash is removed in the first step. Then in the second step, seeds are removed from the cotton fibers, and then the pure cotton fiber, which is known as lint, is removed in the last step. As described in the previous slide, this slide shows the flow sheet diagram of the fiber making process. So first step is definitely the harvesting of the cotton from the plants, and then when we get the cotton from the plants, then it is refined through the ginning process, and we separate the cotton into three parts. One is the cotton lint, which is further used for making fibers, and then for preparation of fabrics, and the remaining is we get the seeds and the waste materials. So those seeds have multiple uses. They can be used to grow cotton, and they can be used for the obtaining the cotton seed oil, and the waste can be used in some other they can be used as a food for animals and some other purposes. So this is the first process of making fiber from the cotton. So here are the references which I have used for preparing this lecture. So if you want to understand something in detail, or you want to go into further details of any topic, so you can consult these websites, and then you can get more detailed information. Besides, I want to ask you to do some work at home, and for that I would ask you to search about knitted, woven and non-woven fabrics, and briefly study about them, and so that you should be able to differentiate between knitted, woven and non-woven fabrics. So this is the homework for you guys for this lecture. Thank you so much. That's all for today, and we will cover the remaining manufacturing process of textile industry, inshallah, in the next lecture. So from today's lecture, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.